Can I have your attention for a couple seconds? We have two more awards left, and then Prospect Hill is going to come play, which is going to be amazing. Right? Stick around for Prospect Hill. You really don't want to leave for that. These guys flew in from LA last week. They were doing their shooting a music video, and up at the Lawrence Airport, and they're here tonight to do an acoustic set for us. By the way, we've got another hero in the room tonight. And by the way, if I don't mention you tonight, it's not because I don't care. It's just I can't name everybody. Jim Ryder, who's the Boston police chief, is here. I just noticed him. I thought he forgot to come this year. But he's the police chief in Boxford, and he's a pretty good guy. I crapped on him pretty good a couple of years ago, and then I got to know him a little bit. And now I'm almost sorry that I did. I'm not really sorry, but I'm almost sorry. Jimmy Driscoll in the room. We need the firefighters, so I'm just going to move to the next one. Man, you guys are brutal. Jim Driscoll. Mike Maglio in the room. Look, we've breezed, this is usually a 4-hour program, we've breezed through all of this. We're like an hour ahead of schedule, so you guys should be happy about that, but nobody should be leaving. Hey, good, nice to meet you. I don't think we've ever actually met in person, so this is kind of weird. In March of 1990, my father, Lawrence Police Officer Tom Duggan, was murdered on Lowell Street in the city of Lawrence by two thugs with a baseball bat. It was something that profoundly changed my life. Can I get your attention on this? This is pretty important. Like, this is kind of like the reason we're here tonight. In March of 1990, my father, Lawrence Police Officer Tom Duggan Sr., was murdered on Lowell Street by two thugs with a baseball bat. It was something that profoundly changed my life, my mom's life, Uncle Frankie's life, and everybody in our family. And as most of you know, the two thugs who murdered my father, after signing a confession, after being found with my father's blood all over them, after signing that confession, were let go by a liberal Massachusetts court and sang and danced their way out of Salem Superior Court in October of 1990. By coincidence, in March of 2004, he was killed, by the way, he was beaten on March 13th, he died on March 16th, St. Patrick's Day was March 17th, St. Patrick's Day Parade, I mean, and then we buried him on the 19th. And by coincidence, in 2004, we happened to start the Valley Patriot in March, and we didn't plan that, it just kind of happened. So every year at our annual bash, we give out what we call our Officer Tom Duggan Public Safety Hero Awards. Jim Driscoll's not in the room, really. You haven't seen him. You guys are killing me. So every year we give out what we call our Officer Tom Duggan Hero Police Officer Award to police officers. We're going to give 2 tonight to Lawrence police officers and 1 to firefighter. Do you have that one ready? I'll just do this myself if he's not here. Mike Maglio. Mike Maglio, during the during the Columbia gas thing, all of South Lawrence was blocked off, and I was driving around live on Facebook because, thank God, I know all the cops, so they let me into the cordoned-off area. And I'm listening to the scanner, and I heard firefighter down, and I literally pulled over and started crying. Because I know almost all of these guys. Actually, I have never met Mike Maglio, but I know almost all of these guys, and I was just starting to think about which one of these guys it could be that the firefighter is down. Mike Maglio fell from, I think, the 3rd floor, right? He fell through the floor during a fire, during a gas fire, during the Columbia gas explosion. And then when he got to the next floor, fell through the next floor, all the way down to the 1st floor. And then he got up and finished putting out the fire, got in his fire truck, and went to the next house to put that one out. And I could stand up here for 5 more minutes and tell you 100 more reasons why a guy like Mike Maglio deserves the Officer Tom Duggan Hero Public Safety Award. And I was hoping that Jim Driscoll would be in the room so that he could tell you a little bit more about him. But I think really that kind of says it all. And those of us who were watching what you guys were doing that night, while everybody else was running out of burning buildings and you guys were running in, while they were exploding, if you watch the videos, they're still up on Facebook, of me driving around the night of the Columbia gas explosions, when these guys were on Springfield Street, and the house is blowing up, and while it's blowing up, these guys are running into the building. It is the most harrowing thing I've ever witnessed in my life. And so I can't think of a better reason to give an Officer Tom Duggan Hero Public Safety Award to Lawrence Firefighter Mike Maglio. I don't know where you're going to hang this, but I hope it hangs proudly somewhere. And I hope every time you think about, every time you look at that, you think about the sacrifice that you make. These guys don't want to be thanked. I want to say that again. I'm going to say it over and over tonight throughout the program. These guys don't want to be thanked. They don't do it to be thanked, and that's why they need to be thanked. So thank you very much, Mike. You're going to introduce the chief. Great, Chief Vask, and boy, I can't believe I'm saying this, Sean Conway. This guy loves me so much. By the way, we still have raffles, 50/50s. Is anybody going around selling raffle tickets? In a few minutes we're going to be pulling those, and then Prospect Hill is going to play. We have Jimmy Drellick is over there selling raffle tickets. The money from the raffles go to Veterans Northeast Outreach to help homeless veterans. And by the way, I can tell you, when I'm out driving around Lawrence, if we find a homeless veteran, I pick up the phone and I call Randy Carter from Veterans Northeast Outreach. Doesn't matter if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, he gets in his car, he meets me on the banks of the Merrimack River, he talks to the guy, we put him in our car, and he puts him in a housing unit that night, gets him into Bedford the next day, gets him an intake, gets him his benefits, and gets him the hell off the street. Our next speaker is a guy that I went to grammar school with, kind of. He was the year behind me at St. Patrick's. A lot of St. Patrick's kids did very, very well, by the way. I'm very proud of guys like Dave Abdu and all the guys that I went to St. Pat's with that are still in the community trying to help out. Under Chief Vask in the last 2 years, violent crime in Lawrence, and I don't care what anybody says. I know this to be true because I drive around and I chase the police calls, even though we encrypted the scanner. I still drive around and I chase the police calls. I just don't do it live so they don't know I'm there. But under Chief Vask in the last year, violent crime in Lawrence has gone down. Are you ready for this? More than 50% under Chief Vask. And that's because he has a new approach to fighting crime in Lawrence. He doesn't take any crap from anybody, including me, which I'm not real happy about, but it seems to be working for him, so I'm glad he's doing it. But we asked Chief Vask to nominate somebody this year for the Officer Tom Duggan Memorial Public Safety Award. And when he told me the nominee, I was kind of scratching my head. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, but if you want to come up and you want to give this officer an award, I'm more than happy to do that at the Valley Patriot Bash. Because whether we like people, we don't like people, we agree with them, we don't agree with them, whether we're arguing with them or not, our police and our firefighters are the people that are running in front of bullets and into burning buildings while everybody else is running in the other direction. And I don't care what anybody says, they're all heroes. Every single one of them. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to Chief Vask, and he's going to tell you who won this next award. Chief? Is he here? He is here, right? Wow. Okay. Save that one. Come on up, Sean. Do you have any Lawrence firefighters in the room? Come on. I mean, Lawrence police officers in the room, please come up. If you're a Lawrence police officer, Jay Cirillo, whose daughter got a scholarship today, come on up. Carl Farrington's in the room. You have no idea what we had to do to get him in the room today, believe me when I tell you. So our first warrant officer, Tom Duggan, Hero Public Safety Award, there's two things that we do every year when it comes to this award. I don't like to pick the cop, because then I just end up picking my friends, right? And that's not right. So I always call the chief of the department, and I say, can you nominate somebody? And this year, Chief Roy Vask, who should be here but isn't, said to me, look Tom, I know you have had your problems with Sean Conway in the past, but during the Columbia gas explosion, this guy stepped up to the plate, took command, ran things, and saved people's lives, and I really think he deserves the award. And I said, you know what, doesn't matter whether we get along or not, Sean Conway is a hero, he's a police officer, he's a lieutenant, and during the Columbia gas explosion, he did step up to the plate, and he did save people's lives. And so for that, we're going to give you the Officer Tom Duggan Hero Public Safety Award, Sean. You ever think you'd see this? I'm surprised we got him in the room.
All right, Sean. Congratulations.
Where's Jimmy Razzo and Mike Samad? I know they said they were coming. Are they here? Come on, they didn't come, really? So I was told that they were coming and Carl wasn't. And Carl comes and they don't. So let me tell you, as I mentioned, I drive around and chase police calls. I go live on Facebook. I show up at shootings. I show up at stabbings. I've been shot at myself a couple of times. And when I'm there on the scene, it's very hard not to notice how professional some of our Lawrence police officers are. Think about this for a minute. In our current culture, in our current climate, where everybody is crying racism about everything, Lawrence is a city that is 80% Dominican. Lawrence is a police department that is 80% white.